Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining me on NLBP TV. I am Camille Miller, your host of The Lee and Me Show, with my co host, Lee Gabarzik. Hi, Lee. How are you doing?
Very well. Good to be here. Good morning to you, Camille.
Good morning. So, today we were trying to figure out where we are in this whole COVID thing. We think we're in either week 9 or 10.
Mm-hmm.
I forget.
Mm-hmm.
It,
Minute.
yeah, it's been a solid 2 months.
It certainly has.
It's been a solid 2 months, a little bit more actually.
Yeah.
And each week we've been coming on and talking a little bit about different subjects along the way. So today we thought we would talk about faith because
Yes.
I don't know why that it just keeps coming up. That word just keeps coming up for me. Um,
Yes.
this morning when
I
I was getting ready, I was like, how about faith?
I really like that. Well, one of the things that through a lot of the different kinds of conversations that we've had is at the end of the day, with all of the things that may be befalling me, something, whatever it is that I'm going through, maybe I'm going through some kind of, I don't know, trauma or crisis or challenge, whatever it may be. And one of the life lessons for me, one of the most central parts of my learning in this reality, in this personhood, if you would, is to be able to be trusting and have faith in my process. And I think that what is really so essential about that is that that is really one of the most important parts of allowing. That when we have, because I know I was reflecting the other day on what is it that really makes success? Like, what is it that really kind of creates for me a sense of accomplishment? Or what is it that makes me find out my purpose, et cetera, et cetera? And it's really just allowing. I'm just allowing whatever it is that's going on to express itself. Well, if I don't have any faith, how am I going to allow anything? I mean, if I don't have a sense of trust and faith in the process of that's as it's coming in, I'm going to then go to the opposite, which is control. And when I go into control over it, now I've set up in certain kinds of restraint on what the thing should look like, which means I'll probably continue to get what I've had with maybe some minor variation, but I'm really not going to get anything that's really different because I'm still enforcing the rules, regulations, and belief systems that I have been doing all my life. So I'm going to continue to get what I've been getting. And if I'm okay with that, fine. But if I'm not okay with that, then I need to look at the mechanisms that are blocking me from being more trusting and faithful so that life can provide for me like, hey, there's an easier way of doing this. Just relax. I love relaxation is actually, it's also at the very heart of faith. I love the Course of Miracles. The Course of Miracles is a great, great book, came out, in the 70s, I think. And the Course of Miracles, many of the people who do the Course say you can distill all of the Course into one word: relax.
That's interesting. One, because the Course of Miracles came up in a book I started yesterday. And I was like, this keeps coming up
Helping.
for me. What is this? I feel like it's something I should take notice of. And here it is when the third time something passes, now I have to go read it. So I have to go do that. But faith, the word, has come up for me because, as I told you before this, I am starting to do this summit called um, Six Figure Souls. And it's all about people that have reached that point that they're still being authentic and soulful. So I was writing out questions this morning. And one of them were in the realm of, like, what does being soulful mean to you? Or what does soul centered or your spirituality mean to you? And how does it show up in your business? And so
Yes,
I thought of reflecting on that in myself. And I said, for me, it's allowing. It's
yes,
having the faith that something good is going to come out of it, that something's going to just happen, or I will be knowing. So I don't spend my time spinning my wheels anymore, right? Or it's
yes.
not working harder. It's actually allowing things to come. And now I sit back and say, I'll figure it out. It'll come to me. I know it will. And I don't. I so kind of that relaxed word that you were saying. I
It's an
kind of
adventure.
allow now.
Yeah, I was watching a biography on Francis Bacon. He's a kind of a crazy painter, but many artists, many painters say that when they are doing the work that they're doing, they're discovering, like Michelangelo would say, I free the from the sculpture. I free it. I free the image. I'm allowing it to come out of the
Yeah.
stone. I'm freeing it from the stone. So when we're in the process of doing something in particularly in creative, we're going, because even when I was doing a mandala yesterday, I stumbled upon a different kind of solution that I wasn't expecting that's much better than anything I think I would have come out with if I were trying to control it. And the reason that it was able to do that is I was allowing myself the experience of discovery. I was allowing myself the experience of the adventure of the process that I was engaged in, which again does not have a destination necessarily. Yes, I'm going to
Yeah.
complete a task, fine, but I'm not attached to it in such a
The
way
outcome.
that creates stress.
Absolutely. Detaching yourself from the outcome. Just
Exactly.
allowing it. That's how I deal with
Exactly.
relationships now. It's how I go through business now. Like I have an overall idea.
Mm-hmm.
Like the summit, I don't know how it's all rolling out. I'm just putting people together and I'm recording it. And I
Yeah,
keep saying to myself, it'll come to me. Like I will figure out exactly how this needs to be delivered. And it will.
exactly. Even with our, with these broadcasts, these podcasts that we do, frequently we don't know. I mean, I didn't know what we're going to talk about today. And as soon as I get into the conversation of it, life kind of starts bringing up into mind because of my own allowing. Because I'm not sitting here thinking, okay, I'm going to have a detailed list. I'm going to go through my bulleted points, and then I'm going to reference certain things. I'm going to do it in a certain way. It'll all be perfect. But
Exactly.
in a conversation, if somebody's engaged in a really robust, engaging, exciting conversation, they're not saying, well, I need to cover the following bullet points because this is really critical to my point of view. And otherwise, I'm really not going to make any sense here. And I'm really not going to be dropping my point home because that's what I need to do. I need my talking points. Crap. That is such crap. And when I'm kind of really in it, it's because it's so free form. It's like floating on some sort of river of energy, and it just goes where it goes, and it's exciting, and it's
Yeah.
scary, and it's fulfilling, and it's enriching, and it brings into this thing that we're talking about. We started here about faith because now my faith in my process has allowed me to discover distant lands I could never have done on my own because I was in my own way.
Absolutely. I don't know a better way to put it. I think faith is, yeah, it's just allowing things to flow in and out. It's like about the flow, right?
It
That's what I
is.
always say. It flows in and out.
When I'm really on a, like, so let's say that I'm doing something creative. Maybe maybe we set something through a conversation, or maybe it's art. I'm doing some kind of mandala art. When I'm at my best, it just, I don't feel any kind of effort. It flows. It's almost like I'm kind of like lifted off. Not that I'm not grounded, but there's nothing in my way. And the terrain is no longer a distraction from my movement. Oh, I like that. It's no longer about the environment of the idea that I'm so busy justifying as some kind of obstacle to whatever I'm trying to achieve. That's no longer part of the equation because my trust and my faith and my intention and what it is that I'm just in my own engaged kind of nature about the being in the moment of whatever it is that I'm doing just lifts me right out of that. And now I don't have those kinds of conversations going in my head of how I can't do it. Now I'm just in this, wow, this is really feels kind of cool. And let's see where this goes. Where does this hovercraft take me, basically?
Love it. I love it. Yeah. I think that's the hardest part with at least being an entrepreneur. The hardest part is just allowing. Actually, probably any time in life, just
I
kind of
think
allowing
anything
things to
is.
flow. But
I think in anything, and I think that we can all justify why we have to be defended. We can all justify why we need to be guarded, or and have some kind of like strategy of coping and strategy of assertion or whatever it is that goes on in the world. But when we are in that kind of defensiveness, there's a law of attraction about that creates justifications for why we are defensive. And then we say, see, I told you, it's bad, it's terrible out there. Got to be like, you got to be forceful, and you got to you can't let them push you around, because you let them push you around. What they're doing in that energy is they're arguing for that. There's an attachment then to bring more of that in, so that they can say, see, I know how to handle this. I know how to speak my mind, and I know how to tell people the truth, and blah, blah, blah. Well, really, why did it have to be like that? Why did that have to be created for that person to feel that? They needed that so that they could trust and have some kind of faith in their process, when all that they're doing is continuing to engage in a negative thought form that perpetuates itself endlessly, and they never even get past that to a point of discovery where they experience joy and letting go in such a way that they don't even think about that.
It's the control, right?
Yeah, it's
Right?
all about
Faith is almost the opposite of control.
It is. It's like what is it? Jesus, take the wheel, right? It's all about letting life, which is really such a much more open-minded idea, such a much more of a free form and infinite possibility of success kind of idea, that then takes out, see, if I'm attached to something, if I'm really like driven by this kind of goal stuff, and I don't mean it's, obviously people have to have some sort of direction, but if I'm really like, I know exactly what it's going to smell like, taste like, look like, blah, 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 blah. That creates immediate tension, because anything that doesn't fit that specific description is then seen as a failure. And then what happens is I'm defining myself by those failures before I even got off the ground to discover what it is that I could actually be achieving that would make me feel a sense of joy about the fact that life is there for me and supporting me in my process in a wonderful way. Now I'm looking at life as an adversary because it's not fulfilling my expectations.
Love it. I'm gonna wrap it up right there. That was fabulous.
Thanks.
All right, so if you have enjoyed this episode of Lee and Me, please share it with your friends and subscribe to our channel. If you're seeing it on our podcast audio or our YouTube channel, just make sure you subscribe and let us know if there's a subject or something you'd like us to talk about. You can contact us at thenaturallife.org on our Contact Us page. Thank you, Lee, for another great episode.
Thank you, Camille.